Sleep Token don't just write about heartbreak, they unravel the very anatomy of identity, and Dark Signs may be one of their most quietly devastating masterpieces yet. And a massive thank you for the immense generosity for those folks displayed on screen who get to enjoy bonus perks and benefits as YouTube channel members and patrons. Okay, Dark Signs Sleep Token. Looking forward to this. So without a further bloody ado, let's go. Oh, that's a cool vibe. Who comes up with the music video ideas? Oh, it's jellyfish. I do like jellyfish.
Where I was raised, there wasn't no street lights. Just pitch black and passing headlights.
Bit of vocal fry in the beginning there.
There must have been dark signs, omens in your skies.
Wow.
Most days you reach for safety.
Oh.
Remain calm, forget that you know me. When we met, I could see dark signs.
This song is about heartbreak.
In your eyes.
Yep, it's definitely about heartbreak. Okay, I think a lot of us can identify with that, but the way he goes about the storytelling is dark, it's ominous, it's brilliant. Okay, so first verse. Immediately spellbound, because Vessel just establishes a landscape that is as psychological as it is physical, and that duality is one of the band's greatest lyrical gifts. Where I was raised, there was no street lights, just pitch black and passing headlights. Now, that evokes far more than a childhood memory, because it paints an upbringing defined by uncertainty, isolation, and fleeting moments of clarity. The absence of permanent light suggests an emotional environment devoid of stability, while the passing headlights become transient illuminations. So, like brief revelations that disappear almost as quickly as they arrive. And I like the admission he uses in the next line, because I found it quite haunting. Where we met, there must have been dark signs, omens in your skies. So there, I think retrospect becomes Vessel's greatest torment, as he just begins to reinterpret the past through the lens of heartbreak, and he's convincing himself that the warning signs were always present, but tragically overlooked. And that notion deepens further in the second half of the verse, where most days you reach for safety, remain calm, forget that you know me. So that portrays a relationship in which I think emotional self-preservation has eclipsed intimacy. So it speaks to someone retreating behind carefully constructed walls, choosing distance over vulnerability, as though acknowledging the relationship has become too painful to bear. And the final line of that verse, alarm bells in your eyes. So that is an astonishing piece of imagery. It's transforming a simple glance into an unmistakable signal of internal conflict. The eyes, so often described as windows to the soul, become involuntary confessors, revealing fears and forebodings that words could never really disguise. And again, it's just a masterclass in understated storytelling, where every line just seems to be saturated with symbolism, and he is allowing for the emotional devastation to emerge not through dramatic declarations, but through subtle, almost imperceptible omens that quietly foreshadow a love already beginning to unravel. Okay, let's keep this going. These guys are just something else.
In your eyes, and I miss the man I was.
Oh,
Moment we left off. And I hate who I
oh wow.
become. Every time I wake up.
Okay, I can hear the dual voice. There's, yeah. So there is a lyrical chorus line, and then there's a very subtle echoed line with a completely different nuance in terms of lyrical approach. So he's telling two stories in the space of a very short time. So I'm going to look into that. Okay, so that was the chorus. Absolutely bloody outstanding. To my mind, that is probably one of the most devastating emotional confessions Vessel has ever committed to paper, because it's different in that it captures the quiet tragedy of identity being eroded by love. The line that he uses, "And I miss the man I was the moment we left off," is not simply the lament of someone mourning a relationship. It is the grief of someone mourning themselves. And the separation becomes a dividing line in their existence, marking the instant at which they ceased recognizing the person staring back at them in the mirror. There is something profoundly human in that admission, because, and I mean, I'm pretty sure most of us will know what this is about. Heartbreak rarely steals only another person. It has an uncanny ability to just dismantle our confidence, our certainty, and even our sense of self. And that anguish is intensified by the repeated sort of background refrain. "I won't break and bend to my basic need to be loved and close to somebody." You see, that's brilliant. And it also feels almost like an internal monologue battling against the lead vocal. And it's exposing the tension between dignity and desire. So on one level, Vessel is trying to convince himself they will not surrender to their primal longing for connection. Yet the very act of repeating those words betrays how impossible that resolve truly is. So it is the sound of someone attempting to reason with their own heart, knowing full bloody well that love is not governed by reason. And then comes perhaps one of the more crushing admissions of all, and "I hate who I have become." So the emotional journey now descends from nostalgia into self-loathing, and it's revealing that the aftermath of the relationship has reshaped him into someone they scarcely recognize or even respect. And by repeating the line, "to be loved and close to somebody," Vessel just strips away every layer of pride and pretense until all that remains is one of the most universal human desires imaginable. And it's reminding me that beneath all of our complexities, philosophies, and defenses, we are creatures who ache for intimacy, belonging, and acceptance. It is, I'm loving this because it's heartbreak rendered not as melodrama, but as an existential crisis, where the greatest casualty is not the relationship itself, but the identity quietly sacrificed in the pursuit of being loved. Okay, I am loving the song. How does, like, a lot of people did tell me that your favorite Sleep Token song is the one that you most recently listened to. And it is. So that made me realize, like, Vessel or Sleep Token, are they working on a new album? Is there anything new coming out? because I have a lot of songs to get through before we can even think about getting there. There were a lot of people who also told me to just listen to Gethsemane, but I don't want to break the discographical order of things. So can someone in the comment section just let me know what's the right way to go about it? Okay, let's continue. I love that follow line. Okay. Talking about journeys, perhaps? Interesting. Oh. Man, the writing. Brilliant. I swear, these Vessel's writing. He is honestly, well, he's a poet. Let me be clear, he's a poet. And I think that's why I tend to gravitate more towards their stuff. Because you look at the lyrics, you look at the structure, you look at the rhyme scheme, you look at the cadence, and even the intonation with which he sings, the parts that he emphasizes, the techniques that he uses to usher in an emotion that will provoke us to feel what he wants us to feel. And sometimes even feelings that are just harbored from our own experiences. He brings it all to the fore, and as a result, what you get is just something quite astonishing. Okay, so we've come to the second verse, and the song just keeps getting better and better because it feels like the inevitable consequence, right? Of a relationship that has slowly unraveled both the connection and the individual within it. And he's already confessed that he misses the person that he once was and has grown to despise who they have become. The imagery has now shifted. It's turned outwards. And it's allowing those internal wounds to manifest in the physical world. If you saw the marks on my dashboard, the new scars that I didn't ask for. Now that is deliberately ambiguous, and that ambiguity is precisely what gives the lyric its extraordinary potency. Really, just outstanding writing from Vessel. The song sounds great. I also was thinking about the dashboard and what that might represent. And I think it could be the countless journeys taken alone, you know, like a silent witness to moments of grief, frustration, and desperation. And there's a reference that he makes to new scars. So that to me suggests emotional injuries inflicted not by choice, but as the unavoidable cost of loving someone who could no longer remain. So these are not self-imposed wounds born of recklessness. They are the residual fractures left by abandonment, rejection, and the relentless passage through heartbreak. So the song could actually speak to many people going through that sort of emotional trauma. Then comes the piercing question, right? Would you call asking for answers? It's not really seeking reconciliation, I don't think, but it's wondering whether the other person would have finally acknowledged the devastation their absence has wrought. Yet, when you look further on, the verse closes with this very visceral phrase, right? Tear my arms off. That evokes the painful notion of being stripped of one's own agency, comfort, and ability just to hold on. And metaphorically, the arms are symbols of embrace, affection, and connection. We use them to hug people. So to have torn them away is to lose even the capacity to reach for the love that has already slipped beyond grasp. and it is a continuation of the song's central tragedy, which is a soul haunted not merely by another person's departure, but by the irreversible transformation that departure has inflicted. So, where every new scar serves as another reminder that some relationships leave echoes long after the final goodbye has even been spoken. Okay, let's keep it going. This has been, as per usual, an absolute joy. That backing line is so profound. Oh, the song is a vibe. Rock instrumental. There you go. Oh, this is so good. It's so good. Sheets, too. Freaking hell. Is there, or are there rather? Oh. Okay, he's going to the chorus again. Yep. Oh, great vocal technique. Nice step down. One of the very few artists I know who consistently use fade outs. But it works. It works. It's very classical lyric writing in terms of the traditional methodology that one goes about writing a song. But there's enough nuance that makes Vessel just, well, he's a lyrical unicorn in more ways than one. And you only have to go back and look at the other 6 or 7 reactions and analyses videos I've done of him to find that very quickly. Okay, so absolutely brilliant. I have a sort of sum up of this performance, but outstanding, really outstanding. Okay. I'm fighting myself to say this isn't my new favorite, but I'll just say this. At its core, Dark Signs is a meditation on the quiet devastation of loving someone whose departure leaves you estranged from yourself. The song, for me at least, explores the haunting tendency to revisit the past, recognizing warnings that only become visible through the lens of heartbreak. So all of this is done while grieving not only the relationship, but the identity lost within it. So Sleep Token reminds us that the deepest wounds are often invisible, etched into memory, reshaping our character long after the moment has passed. It is less a song about losing another person than about mourning the version of yourself that disappeared alongside them. Absolutely bloody brilliant once again from Sleep Token, from Vessel. The music was outstanding. The lyrics were very deep, quite profound. It had me thinking a lot harder than I'm generally used to, which is a good sign. So really unbelievable. Thank you all so much for watching, and please do like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. I don't have to tell you a lot, but there has been a YouTube algorithm that is pretty much going to screw most of the reaction channels, even though mine is more of a lyrical breakdown. So please do support your beloved reactors And if you can support them financially, please do. If you would like to support me, all of the links for that are in the description below. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, do be kind, do be gentle, do be respectful to one another, and help each other out when you can. And I'll see you lot in the next video. Take care. Cheers.